Well, I got as much as I could out of that. There's a lot of numbers, and you can read those yourselves. However, basically what happened is France, of course, had like a stock market and economy that was pretty fine at the time. But these days there have been a little bit, these days for the last 30 years, have been political unrest. Maybe not 30 years, but still. And suddenly the government called for a snap election, which basically means that they want to do a whole general election all over again, quicker than normal, to see if they can basically solidify power and various other reasons. However, people looked at this and they're like, people around the world looked at this and said, this government is calling a snap election, and there's actually a good chance that the government will be changing into a more far-right government, which may not be so open to something that's not nationalism. Does that make sense?
Yes, they might be a lot more close-minded to foreign investment.
Possibly, or anything foreign, rather. So they started withdrawing their stocks, selling, trying to move their money from France into what they considered safer areas. This has caused a drop in stock prices in and among France. Companies are trying to defend and say, look, yes, there are some French-based companies that are called French, and they are housed in France. But a lot of the foreign investment comes from overseas in dollars anyway. So even if this right-wing government does take over and they do these weird things that you're worried about, 80% of our worth is not here. We're going to be fine, is what I understood the article to say. Anyone who has studied economy can prove me wrong in the comments below. But in any case, basically what we have is foreign investors freaking out and France saying, it's not that bad. Please stop. Please come back. Yeah. A lot of mumbo jumbo after that about numbers, and now we have our questions.
Okay, let's get to the questions.
If you want to answer this, you can.
I'm going to give it my best shot.
Yes, that's all we can do.
Let's get creative.
What sectors of the stock market do you think are taking the worst beatings right now?
Well, I don't know if this really counts as a sector, but I would say British things, British investments, because, and for almost exactly the same reason. Maybe a month ago, the British Prime Minister also announced a snap election for completely different reasons. But he's picked out July the 4th. And, this threw a lot of politicians and businesses and things into chaos because they weren't quite expecting it to be so soon. Commentators had predicted he was going to do it, towards the end of this year. So again, that makes a little feeling of instability in Britain right now. So again, a lot of investors start selling to play it safe. Again, and the exact same message is coming out of the UK. It's not that bad. We are going to have a transition, but it's not going to affect the businesses dramatically. It might even improve things for the businesses. Everybody's hoping things can't possibly get any worse. But, of course, as soon as you say that, the British will say, hold my coat, it can get worse. But if you have British stocks, do not take my advice because I have absolutely no idea about the stock market.
There is nothing said here today that is a proper advice for anyone, anywhere, at any time.
Huge warning.
Huge
Do
warning.
not take our financial
do not listen
advice.
to us. Listen to English, not to us. Do you think that politicians sometimes just take a D20 dice, roll it, and see what they're going to do?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Have you heard of a politician from Britain called Liz Truss? She made a wild roll of the dice, changed the tax system very dramatically, and nearly caused a total economic collapse of the UK.
She was in the article.
She's nuts.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, she was just, okay, well, there we go. Now, the more you know. Now, do you know maybe the top reasons why countries might want a snap election?
People have been theorizing, at least about Britain, about why Rishi did it. And again, I think he perhaps hoped that he can catch the opposition party off guard because they don't have much time to do their campaigning and get the word out about their policies. And, you know, I was watching the British news recently and they did a sort of vox pops with people on the street and they asked about, so what are the policies of the Labour Party, our current opposition party? And everyone was like,
They like
know.
Labour.
And nobody knows because, and so this could be a potential reason he thought it would be a good idea.
Do they know the policies of the current government?
We do better, but we also
Uh-huh.
know that they haven't really followed through on any of those policies. It's highly unlikely, I think, that the current Conservative government will get re-elected. A landslide Labour victory is predicted. Simply because, not because we know about Labour, but because we hate the Tories so
They're
much.
not the Tories, so.
They have failed so hard.
Again,
we roll the dice.
Anyways, well, I'm glad this article is over. I definitely took a beating from this. Just reading it, it was an assault to the eyes, and it's time for us to rest.
Sorry, finance guys. Sorry, it's just not our jam. We love
not,
you, though.
Yeah, it's not. Well, don't be spooked by the vocabulary. There's plenty in there that you can learn, even if it is a little bit economically related. I know I could learn them as well. And go ahead and try to use them in your everyday English by talking to your smart friends about smart things. And we'll see you guys later. Bye.
Take a beating.
Take a beating.
Log.
Log.
Fiscal.
Fiscal.
Equity.
Equity.
Domiciled.
Domiciled.